This Pennywise Recaps, and today we're reviewing the fantasy thriller Come Back to Me. Get ready for incredible plot twists. When Dale was a teenager, his mother Eileen was murdered by his father. It was so terrible that even the cops who arrived could not look at her body in peace. The boy himself, left alone with his mother, assured her that everything would be fine, and after that, he somehow revived her. Many years have passed. A married couple, Sarah and Josh, learn about a new neighbor who has moved in across the street and meet the grown-up Dale. He literally devours Sarah with his eyes, saying that she reminds him of someone. At home, Sarah meets with her friend Leslie, who is pregnant, but she doesn't remember with whom. At the store, Sarah meets Dale again, who has taken a job there. He politely helps her carry her purchases to her car, almost forgetting to give her back her set of keys. Sarah's husband, Josh, works as a croupier in a casino and decides to stay late to earn more money, which he tells his wife by phone. She, in turn, takes a shower and remembers their conversation about the child she wanted to have after she almost died in an accident, but her husband is not ready for it yet. Dale, meanwhile, returns home with the key to Sarah's house, which he had secretly made at the store. Then he thinks of his next insidious plan, and to begin with, he returns the plate of cookies he was given at the exact moment when Sarah was working on her dissertation on the impact of stress on family life. The girl falls asleep with the recorder at work and wakes up in a panic, feeling pain and a strong smell of detergent. Leslie, who is a doctor, assumes that her friend is just having nightmares due to the stress of her husband not wanting children. She says that she had similar nightmares, which is why she got a dog, and it stopped. Sarah throws her dirty clothes in the washing machine and is horrified to find her t-shirt with bloodstains. The girl tells her husband about all these strange things, but he does not attach any importance to it. Later, secretly from Sarah, Josh receives test results that show that he cannot have children. At night, Sarah checks the recording from the dictaphone and hears someone coming to their house, followed by the sound of a murder. Terrified, she runs to her husband to play the recording for him, but finds him unconscious. And then, someone attacks her as well. They both wake up in the same place where they fell asleep, but Sarah doesn't believe it was just a dream. Her phone, which fell during the night attack, is also broken. Sarah tells Leslie about it, recalling that after the nightmare, there was a distinct smell of detergent in the house, and her old scar from the accident had miraculously disappeared. Josh, to dispel his wife's doubts, rents a luxury hotel room for a week, and during this time, the nightmares no longer bother her. However, upon returning home, Sarah runs into Dale again on the street, who rudely asks her where she has been. The girl answers him in the same tone, and when he leaves for work, she decides to check out his house. Inside, Sarah sees a terrible mess and photos of different faces with captions that are connected to her mother. On the second floor, she finds a box with keycasts and photos of dead girls, among whom she sees herself. At this point, she is stunned by Dale, who has returned home. Sarah regains consciousness at home and sees traces of blood on her fingers. However, Leslie does not find any wounds on her friend, but Sarah feels sick again and decides to take a pregnancy test, which unexpectedly shows a positive result. On the street, the friends meet Dale, and it turns out that he used to be a patient of Leslie's, but stopped seeing her because of her dog. Sarah goes to the casino to tell her husband the good news, but when he finds out she is pregnant, he goes to a bar to get drunk. Returning home drunk, Josh tells Sarah that he cannot have children and accuses her of cheating on him. He leaves the house. In the morning, Sarah wakes up again with bloody marks on her hands and decides to install a hidden camera in her bedroom. Leslie and her dog decide to stay with her for the night. At night, the dog hears someone breaking into the house and rushes toward the noise. Leslie follows and finds the dog injured. She is also attacked by an unknown person. Sarah, hearing the noise, comes to the rescue. The next morning, they both wake up in a strange state. The dog is alive but frightened. On the floor, there are traces of someone trying to wipe away the blood. Meanwhile, Leslie suddenly gives birth to a boy. Leslie offers Sarah to spend the night at the hospital, but she refuses. In the morning, she receives a visit from an unknown visitor. Waking up naked, Sarah finally decides to watch the recording from the hidden camera. She sees that her neighbor Dale broke into her house during the night, tied her up, and took advantage of her helplessness to do his horrible deeds. After that, he laid a cloth on the floor and did something horrible to the girl, sending her to the next world. Afterwards, he destroyed all traces of the crime using detergent, took a picture of the victim, and bent over her. When he left, Sarah came back to life, but had no memory of what happened. Sarah shows the video to Leslie and tells her that after Dale breathes life into her, not only does she come back to life, but all her wounds disappear, including the scars from the accident. However, she sees no point in going to the police because she is alive, and the recording could be mistaken for a prank. Eventually, Sarah finds a case on the internet described by a policeman who arrived at the scene of the murder of a woman named Eileen, who suddenly came back to life in front of her son, 14-year-old Dale, and is now being treated in a psychiatric clinic. The girl thinks long and hard and decides to visit her. Leslie, looking at her child, who looks nothing like the alleged father, recalls telling a friend that she used to have similar nightmares. That's why she got a dog. And coincidentally, Dale stopped being her patient after she got a dog. Sarah arrives at the psychiatric clinic, and when Eileen learns the description of the visitor and realizes that the conversation will be about her son, she agrees to talk to the girl. During the meeting, Eileen says that Dale prefers pretty blondes who look like her. The woman says that Dale discovered the gift of healing at the age of 14 when he breathed life into her after she died. Later, he did this with animals and girls to get what he needed from them, and they remembered nothing afterwards. When Eileen could not accept the idea that her son was a monster, she tried to leave this world forever in the bathroom. However, he revived her again and promised that he would do it every time. As a result, the woman decided to do it all again, but with the help of fire, right on the doorstep of the house in front of the police, so that she could be locked up in a clinic and thus protected from Dale. She asked Sarah to end the boyfriend once and for all, pointing out where to get a gun. At night, Dale goes to the neighbor's house again. Later, however, Josh returns there as well, having decided that he will reconcile with his wife. Soon after, Sarah arrives home with a gun and, frightened, shoots at a figure in the dark corridor who turns out to be her husband with his mouth taped shut. Dale appears nearby and hints to the armed girl that only he can revive Josh, but he does not want to do it yet because he considers the man who left Sarah unworthy of her. Sarah decides to play on friendliness, offering to have dinner together and treating Dale to cookies, just like his mother used to do when he was a child. She then goes upstairs to the bedroom with the boy, where she tries to seduce him, but ends up sucking out his life-giving breath through a kiss. Dale realizes what is happening and gets into a fight with the girl, during which they both fall down the stairs to the first floor. There, Sarah takes Dale's breath again and gives it to Josh. After that, she is attacked by Dale, who has regained consciousness but is thrown away by Josh. Sarah picks up the gun and finally kills Dale. However, she did not take into account how the death of the strange healer would affect his victims. At the moment of Dale's death, everyone he once killed and then revived begins to suddenly die from their previous wounds. And Sarah and Josh are no exception. This also affected Leslie, who now lies dead in the hospital by the bedside of her young son. Thank you for being with us. Subscribe to the channel, like us, and be sure to click on the bell to stay up to date with our new videos.